Hello, everyone. How are you today? Great to see you all. Great to be with you. We are having another recording today, and I have a new guest that I have not had before, Erin Brinkley, the principal of Sacred Heart Catholic School. So you work here with me as well.
I do. We work a lot together.
You work right down the hall. So it's great that you were able to make the commute over to PowerPod Studios.
Yes. It was a long commute.
Yes, indeed. A little bit longer than my commute, probably about 10 more steps, but still longer. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And what I'm hoping to do today for everyone watching this is we're entering a kind of a special week here in Catholic schools. Discover Catholic Schools Week, not to be confused with Catholic Schools Week.
Exactly.
I wish they would have named it something slightly differently.
I know, that would have been good. They even used the same, I think, logo for it. But anyhow.
Great. That's not confusing at all. So what I thought would be fun today is just talk about Catholic schools, talk about your role as a principal of Catholic schools, and just brag about our school as well, because it's worth bragging about a little bit. That is very easy. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So why don't we start with a little bit of an introduction, because people might not know who you are. So tell us a bit about yourself, how you got into the role as principal here, maybe a little bit of educational history. I don't know, whatever you think people would like to know about you would be great.
Yeah. So I actually attended Sacred Heart, and my family moved from Buffalo, New York, down to Salisbury for Food Lion. Most people know what Food Lion is. That's where my dad worked for many years. And I went to Sacred Heart from first grade through 8th grade, with a very brief hiatus in 3rd grade where we moved to Florida for 9 months for Food Lion, and came back. Graduated from Sacred Heart, went to West Rowan High School, then off to UNC Greensboro, pursued Greensboro because of an auditory oral deaf education degree, which was very new. It was kind of deaf education with the mindset of using cochlear implants and technology rather than a sole reliance on sign language. Became dual licensed in that program. When I graduated, I got a job with Kannapolis City Schools. I enjoyed very much, spent 10 years in Kannapolis City Schools, doing a variety of things. On came baby number 3, and we needed to change some things up in our family, and I was working a little bit for the church, though part-time before that.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
then that's all I was doing, so to speak, was working with you here in the church office. We were doing faith formation.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yes, indeed.
Some youth group things and sacramental prep. And then there became availability for a kindergarten teaching position, which I very excitedly took on. In the
what
school.
grades did you do in Kannapolis? Probably a variety over 10 years.
Oh, yeah. I did mostly little kids, but my license is actually in deaf education, K through 12th grade and high school. So I actually did service high schoolers all the way down to 4-year-olds.
Wow.
Yeah. So for a while, my car was my office, because that's what it is, and I was on the cart. I did do a self-contained hearing impaired room for a while. I did a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I'm not good at really saying no. And so that
seems to be a normal quality when working for the church. That's how we get here and how we kind of get stuck sometimes.
So, so variety of ages in Kannapolis. So took on kindergarten.
Over to kindergarten here in the school.
Only did kindergarten for 1 year and did 3rd grade. Then was dean of students with some other responsibilities in half-time 1st grade. Then 5th grade. And then principal.
Nice.
So the running joke was that literally every year I changed classrooms. So, but you get to learn a lot. You grow a lot during that time. And they each have taught me very different things.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And so you've been principal here for?
This is my 2nd year.
2nd year.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say you've completed 2, but you're still halfway through the 2nd.
Only completed 1.
Nice.
1 full year. Yeah.
So this is obviously from teaching for a long time in Kannapolis, to formation in the church, to many different teaching roles here in the school, and then principal. So what are some of the joys that you found in being principal compared to your teaching? Because you taught for a very long time.
Yeah.
You probably never, I don't know, maybe you expected to become a principal one day. Maybe you didn't.
I didn't. I mean, that really wasn't in my plan that I needed to do that. I've always though prayed and discerned, and which has obviously led me to do many different things.
Yeah.
When the position became available, there was a lot of prayer time.
I bet.
a lot of discussions with my husband.
And me being part of the interview process, which was a great joy. There was some prayer on my end as well as we were just starting the new principal.
Yes, yeah. But the driving factor is really just my passion for this school. And I just love this place and want it to be all that it can be. But I'm still not answering your question as to what.
That's okay.
What is the favorite
why don't we take the off ramp first and talk about why do you love this place? What is it about this place, about Sacred Heart Catholic School, that has this passion? And for somebody who was here from first grade to eighth grade, and now as a principal, what inspired you to come back, I guess, in some ways?
I will say I think our school is a lot different than where it was when I was here. And it's not just because the principal, but I respect my time of my being here and that time, but it's very different. The approach is
couple
Father
things.
John is we're pretty spoiled here. But
indeed.
he is very hands-on. I mean, he knows every kid's name. He knows something about every kid too. And it's that sense that the priest just isn't some guy that shows up for mass or the sacraments. He's human.
And he really likes giving high fives.
And he's passionate about the mission too.
Yeah, of course.
So when you work with people that are passionate about the same things, it makes for a very great team. Not that when I was here that there wasn't passion, it was maybe just channeled in a different way in terms of with regard to a priest.
And it was just different times
it was
in history
hands
too.
off. It was more hands off, right? It was a different time in history. And also the physical space, the church was, removed from the school. We were not, yes, it's probably about 100 yards away, but it's still 100 yards away. And,
when the parish offices were in a totally separate building.
Exactly.
As the school.
Exactly.
So father back then would have to make the intentional walk across the parking lot.
Exactly.
Whereas father steps out the back door and there's kids all over the hallways.
Exactly. So there's a lot of different factors. Fun fact is that I had Mrs. Corneliuson in 4th grade.
Oh, great fact.
And now my 3rd child has Mrs. Corneliuson in 4th grade. And you just don't get that longevity now, and loyalty to staying in one place. There was still that passion. The passion with teachers was present back then. They were very committed to giving kids the best. I still feel like that's the same. They very much knew their students, cared for their students, and nourish their growth. It's easier to do in a smaller atmosphere, and that's what I loved about the school and continue to love about this school. I just feel like everybody is committed to bringing out the best in each kid.
Yeah, definitely. And what is our enrollment now?
179.
179. Man, I was really pushing for that 180 mark. I'm like, I think we can hit it, but
we're at 179 right now, which is great. We continue to increase a little bit every year with being careful not to get too big, knowing what we can handle, not making classes too large,
Mm-hmm.
trying to make them just right.
Yeah, still have a good ratio from
Yes,
students and
yes.
teachers.
Exactly.
Have enough elbow room in the classrooms and in the
Exactly.
hallways and things. Yeah, that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
So let's kind of circle back around to
Yeah.
the principal question.
Mm-hmm.
You've been principal for a year and a half now,
Mm-hmm.
almost.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the joys that you found as being a principal? Maybe unexpected, maybe some that were a little bit expected,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe if you would share a challenge or two that you didn't expect that would be so challenging that you find it a little bit harder than expected.
The joy and the good spots are always usually with the kids.
Of course.
I mean, they say what is on their mind and what is on their heart, and with innocent authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
and you just can't trade that for anything in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many of those moments to count, and I just wish parents for one day could be flies on the wall and hear and see all the things that their kiddos do and say, and so those were the high moments as a teacher too.
Yeah. You probably don't get as much of that as a principal, but
No,
I bet
no.
when you do get it, it's a little bit more
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah, and we're looking at overall when we're progress monitoring, and a teacher's just been working really hard to see a kid close a gap,
Mm-hmm.
and you see that happening, and you get to tell them, those results that is in fact happening, and their work is paying off.
Mm-hmm.
Those celebratory moments are always the best.
Nice.
Another high moment is always the school mass. I
Mm-hmm.
love the school mass.
Mm-hmm.
I love hearing those little voices sing. And I really love the homily.
Father does a good job.
I like the homilies at the children's mass.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to be said for sometimes we can all just use a little lesson that's just kid-like.
A little bit more simplicity.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes those messages really hit home more than others.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't been to a mass, you must come to a school mass.
Yes, it is open to the public.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thursdays at 8:30.
Yes, yes. And I do love that we're back old school. And when I mean old school, we're doing it like when I went to school here, and grades are sponsoring a mass.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exciting because you get to see what parts you're gonna get, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It gets more kids having a part in the mass.
Yeah, more engaged.
Yeah. You said low moments. Oh, low moments.
Some unexpected challenges.
Yeah, you never like behavior disciplinary type actions. It does come with the job. I don't think people realize how much we look and analyze that budget.
Yep. Yep.
There is nobody else like in some building somewhere else taking care of that for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful to Camille Denhard because she does that here at the school and keeps things in line. But it's very much being mindful and sticking to those plans. And it's a challenge. You know, you want to give everybody the world all the time, but you have to say no sometimes.
Yeah, we want everyone here.
Yeah.
We'd like everyone here.
Yeah.
And we do have limitations, as we were talking about, with space and things. And unfortunately, finances is one of those limitations.
Exactly. It is not lost on us that it is. People work hard to be able to send their kids here.
Oh, yeah.
So it's absolutely never lose sight of that. I come from a family that worked hard so that I could come to Catholic school. I totally respect that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. I don't know too many families that don't work hard to get
their kids
to Catholic school.
I know. Everybody's working hard.
It's always amazing to see how many kids we do get and all the different backgrounds they come from. And actually, let's talk about
That's what I love about our school, too, is we are so diverse. I think there's this misconception of what Catholic school is and that it's one way and that it's only for people in a certain financial threshold, and it is absolutely not what our school is. We are diverse in every form of the word. And I love that because that's a reflection of what our world is.
Yeah.
Our world is not a one size fits all. And so I love that. We are definitely more diverse than when I came to school here. And I love and appreciate that as a principal, and I love and appreciate that as a mom. Yeah, definitely.
We are one of probably the most diverse private schools that I've ever seen.
Yeah. We are.
Not to toot our own horn here, but we do have
Yes.
a very, very large diversity. What do you think about the school helps that exist? What's changed over the years that you've seen the school? Because it wasn't like that when I walked in the door.
Right.
I think it was shifting that direction, but it's very clear that there has been a change.
Yeah, the North Carolina Opportunity Scholarship has opened a lot of doors. That gives parents fill out it's through the state, a process, and they're awarded a very huge portion of their tuition if they are granted that opportunity. It makes it possible for a lot of our students. And it really allows us to deliver our mission to those that we might not otherwise be able to financially have the means to support.
Yeah.
I mean, we have financial assistance, and we do offer that, but it only goes so far. As I'm saying, you know, we've got to pay the bills,
Of course,
and make sure everything is in check. So that North Carolina Opportunity Scholarship has really helped us become more diverse.
And what percentage of our students are on that now? It's a fairly large percentage, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fairly lower percentage still.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise, it's less than 15%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is something that tons of families are interested in and looking into that can qualify. And kind of for viewers at home, if you're interested in learning more about that, maybe you've been looking at Catholic schools, maybe you've even looked at Sacred Heart, and you're like, oh, I can never afford that. Well, we're here to help. And that Carolina Opportunity Scholarship is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. What else makes this place special? Like, let's brag about the school a little bit more. We'll kind of start on that.
Absolutely. I mean, the kids get religion every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. Learn about Jesus every day. Pray. Having prayer morning, midday, in the late afternoon. Of course, that includes Mass. Our education and virtue program is outstanding. You know, I think we've all heard fathers said, you know, I'm a good person. Well, good for you. I mean, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does good mean? And it really puts the vocabulary and what it means to be virtuous. And the kids use that vocabulary. You know, I remember in third grade, my Bennett, he's going to hate that I'm using his name on this.
He probably won't watch this, right?
He probably not. That he wrote my mom a poem, and she was in Mrs. Michael's class, and for A, he wrote that she was affable, and my mom was like, whatever the school is doing, they are doing something right, because that is awesome. He used the word affable.
Yeah, fantastic.
But they're using their vocabulary, and they're really understanding what that means. And when there's disciplinary action, I have virtues I need to work on. I am not very patient. I think many people probably see that. I lack that virtue, and that's something I'm working on. But that's something we're talking about. We can talk about that openly.
You have a common language.
We have a common language, exactly. And it's just not, hey, you were bad. It's like, okay, so what do we need to work on here? We need to work on orderliness so that we don't forget to do our homework. It's not just about being kind and good, and it's more than that.
Yeah.
Being kind is important, but being patient and humble and all these other things are important too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that's an amazing part of our school. I also love. It may sound a little cliche, but it's like, I like to describe our school as like where tradition meets innovation.
Yeah.
It's like we still have traditional roots that are important, like homework, like turning things in on time. that is maybe surprising to some that is lost in many schools. But we also have, our STREAM and engineering projects and
PowerPod Studios.
PowerPod Studios, right? And our kids have Chromebooks, but they also have pen and paper.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about our school. It's a balance. I mean, they have to learn the technology. That's the world we live in. But it is not the end-all, be-all. And that's what I love, too.
Yeah. And I know Father is very passionate about that as well, that, we find that fine balance of technology that, I mean, who isn't looking at a screen almost the entirety of the time that they're at home? I know I'm guilty of that just as much as anyone else is. I mean, everyone is watching this right now on a screen, right?
Right.
But recognizing that it is the world we live in and finding that balance is so crucial. And that, I think, plays very well into the Virtue program as well.
Exactly. I was just thinking about that.
How can we use technology in a virtuous manner to improve our lives, but also not get carried away? It all ties together.
Yeah. Modesty, and all those, and self-control. And, we all need to be reminded of those things. I am on my phone way too much. And, going on a good camping trip with no Wi-Fi service is amazing.
It is the best. I haven't done that in a while, but it is the best.
It's been a little while for me too, but I love it.
Yeah. Your kids are getting to a good age to do that.
I'm still we have a lot of fun.
I still got a little ways to go before
we
my
have
kids
good fun when we go camping.
Full campers.
Yeah.
Let's touch on the staff here a little bit too. I know you mentioned back when you were in school here that the staff was very committed, right? That's still very much the same here.
Oh, yes.
Every teacher that I work with, every staff member that I talk to, they love this place.
Yes.
There is a commitment here and a longevity, as you were talking about with Mrs. Corneliuson, that is unprecedented in a lot of places. Why do you think there's so much passion about this place from the teachers, and why do you think they want to stay? Some of the things we've already talked about.
Yeah, some of these things we have already talked about. Somebody gave a great compliment, and you were in that meeting when they said that it is just crazy. I feel like everybody who works here really wants to. And you just don't see that everywhere. I think the teachers here are passionate about teaching. Yeah. And we let them teach.
And that sounds so weird that it's that simple.
No.
They love teaching, and we let them do it.
Yeah.
Simple recipe for success.
We're not working to get kids to pass a certain test. Yes, we use data. Yes, we analyze the testing data. But there's still a room to be creative. There's room for teachers to think outside of the box and deliver instruction in a unique manner and not a one-size-fits-all. We have curriculums. But if it's not working for a certain group and we have conversation, we can move off that road a little bit and find what works. And that's what teachers really enjoy. I think they enjoy the support of our parents. We have a group that want their students to learn and grow and be nourished, and they're supportive of that. And we really hold our students to a standard where they're expected to come to school and be docile and learn and be willing to learn. And I think if you ever spend any amount of time on our campus and you just walk about the building, I would challenge anyone not to feel that as they walk around and check things out.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And actually, talking about our campus, I think that's one more thing that we got going for us.
Oh, it's amazing.
We have one of the most beautiful campuses
ever.
Yes,
we do.
Obviously, anyone who's come to church here has seen it or driven up Lumen Christie Lane. And what better name for a road than the light of Christ coming into school each day? But yeah, we're just blessed even just with the nature around us and the facility that we have. And it's a fairly new school, all things said and done with.
Coach Epps goes on nature walks, and I don't think he ever comes back without having found a creature or critter or something. And that's fun. Yeah. I mean, learning on the spot is the best kind of learning.
Yeah.
Unexpected. learning is great.
And we have a safe facility and a
Oh,
place that you
yes.
can get out there and do that. It's just
Absolutely.
wander through the woods a little bit
Exactly.
and find new things to explore.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a little pitch here as we kind of wrap up this
Okay.
conversation. Let's say there's somebody sitting at home and they say, ooh, I want to learn more about Sacred Heart.
Mhm.
I want to be a potential student there, or I want my
Mhm.
kids to be a potential student there. What would you kind of say to that family about how to start that process of exploring our school?
Give us a call. It's really that easy. Give
Yeah.
us a call. Camille gives a heck of a tour, and
I've heard about her tour.
I
I've never
know.
participated
I
on the
mean,
tour, but I've
she
heard great
never
things.
rushes the process.
Nope.
You know, she never rushes the process. When you call, you'll get Shannon on the phone, and she will direct you to Camille. But we also, since it is Discover Catholic Schools Week, we are having an open house. If you are a parishioner here, we will be outside of the masses this weekend.
That's
Come
right.
over and say hello. You
Yes.
can speak with us then.
Mhm.
And next Wednesday, we will have an open house from 6 to 7:30. You don't need to do anything other than drop in. And we will show you around the building and get you started. We are a friendly bunch. We love meeting new people.
Of course.
And we already have kids enrolled for next year.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's kind of time to, if you're looking, look now.
It's crazy to think that we're not even at Thanksgiving yet.
I know.
And people are thinking about the next school year.
I know. They really do begin, especially for those younger kids, those slots get filled. And kind of really, that's really where Discover Catholic Schools Week came from, is that enrollment period and is much earlier than that February time frame.
Yeah.
And really showcasing our schools. So yeah, the time is now. Come
Time
on.
is now.
Yeah.
Well, we're very excited for Discover Catholic Schools Week and the special announcement the Father will be making at the end of
Yes.
Masses this weekend.
Gonna be fun.
We will not spoil
No,
that fun
no.
announcement. Open house. Things are coming. Things are moving. The
Yes.
school is doing great, and I love being here. I don't really work in the school, but
Oh, he's
I
in the
love-
school a lot. He
I
helps
love
us a
having
lot.
a small hand in everything that goes on
Oh,
here
yes.
and enjoying being tangentially part of a wonderful, wonderful place. So, well, thank you, Erin,
Thank
so much
you. Thanks for having me.
time. Thank you all for viewing. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, all those fun things, and we will see you next time for the next conversation I have.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Have a good one.